Okay, we can start. That music was beautiful. Thank you, Nirupama. Thank you, Yogita, for the lovely music. I think everybody appreciated it. And it's such a nice welcome in the morning to have such a big audience here. I don't think we've ever had such a lot of people coming for the opening morning. I'll just say a few words about my father, Khushwant Singh, in whose name we have this Lit Fest. We began it about 12 years ago or so, and the idea was that we would have it in his, well, he was still alive, but it would reflect some of the values and passions and concerns that he had. And I should mention here right in the beginning that the person who helped us start it was Brigadier Anant Narayanan and Aparna, his wife. They are the ones who began the first Lit Fest. And they're both here. He's now a Lieutenant General. And I'd like to welcome also Brigadier Kunal Bakshi, who is the present brigade commander. Colonel Mehta, the secretary, who's busy in his office there and who's borne a lot of our problems and everything, and very stoically he's done it all. Now, I'd just like to say quickly some of the concerns of my father, Khushwant Singh. He did much of his writing from Kasauli, which is why we decided that we would have it in the Kasauli. And the Kasauli Club is one of the most beautiful venues that you can have for a Lit Fest. When you get a chance, you can see the valley, Chandigarh there. And naturally, living in Kasauli, one of the concerns he had was the ecology of Kasauli. Ecology, wildlife, and because he used to talk about how he could often see leopards here. On the driveway of the house that we have, he saw a leopard sunning himself in the morning. And there used to be the golden eagle, after whom that famous beer, the first beer in India was named Golden Eagle beer. And there used to be golden eagles at Monkey Point there, all gone now. And deer, there used to be a lot of deer around also. So the ecology is one of them. And then the education of the girl child was something again. And it's nice to see so many children, also school children here. Ecology of the girl child. And of course, the Lit Fest is dedicated to the Indian soldier because we are in a cantonment. Well, Bachchi will come in there. He was also somebody who had a great sense of humor. And he felt that that should be one of, he was sad that we were, as a nation, losing our humor. And Bachchi is one of the top humorists in this country. So she'll be probably talking a little bit about my dad on that. He was also a great communicator. He was one of the few people who could be on the same wavelength as a prime minister or a top intellectual and a common villager. As Kipling put it, he could walk with kings and yet have the common touch. So that is another, legacy of his, to communicate. And he was a totally secular person, He got very upset when Operation Blue Star took place. He returned his Padma Bhushan about that. But he then later on got the Padma Vibhushan. I think he's one of the persons who was really totally a secular person. He came from Pakistan, but he had no hatred towards Pakistan, and his eternal love was for his village in Pakistan. I'll just end with some of which shows his humor and his and which you might have heard before, his humor and he couldn't care less about authority, and he said exactly what he wanted to say. I was in the house in Delhi once. He got a very official letter from the SGPC, which is the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, the highest authority of the Sikhs. And my father, at the end of his columns, he used to always have a joke at the end, which was sent by people. And a lot of them were Santa Banta jokes, Sardarji jokes, which were sent to him by Sardarjis themselves. Santa Banta jokes. So this letter from the SGPC said, please stop your Santa Banta jokes. So my dad thought for a little while, and he used to send everybody, postcards. A lot of people used to write to him, he used to send them ordinary, the postcards in the old days. And this, he thought about for a little while, and then he addressed this postcard to the SGPC with just 3 words, go to hell. And he never heard from them again. So on that note, I'll end and pass it on to Bachi. He mentored Bachi as she will mention. But anyway, Bachi, on to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Since you talked about postcards, and I'm glad you didn't say your favorite postcard story, which I will not say, but I used to really kind of often tell him, because his favorite form of communication was the postcard. And somebody would have written to him some long letter, and he'd write back and say, yes. So I said, Khushwant Singh, this man may not even remember what you asked for. So then that's his problem. And he talked about his Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. And I remember when he got the Padma Bhushan, my ex-husband said, well, he got the Padma Bhushan, but I'm sure he'd rather have had Padmini Kolhapuri. Anyway, so today's LitFest theme is the revolution will not be televised. Even if it were being televised, I don't think we'd know because of the bedlam that happens on television. So it would quite pass us by. But I think the important thing, and I thought, Rahul, you were going to talk about, is the fact that, be the change that you want to see. And I think if you're talking about that and the revolution, I think Khushwant Singh seriously and truly epitomized both change and the revolution. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk too much, at all, about his literary prowess, about his being the world's authority on Sikhism, all of which he was, because I only know him as an editor, and I think that's enough for one lifetime. And so he really revolutionized magazine journalism. And I remember Rahul at that time wrote and said that he took magazine journalism by the scruff of its neck and shook it up. And not only did he shake it up, he cast it in his own image. And he made it punchy, irreverent, and controversial. And I don't know, a lot of you are of the generation which belonged to the old Illustrated Weekly before Khushwant Singh. A lot of people have difficulty thinking that there was an Illustrated Weekly before the Khushwant Singh, because he really did make it his own. And at that time, the editor was a man called A.S. Raman, before my time, because I joined as a trainee when Khushwant Singh took over as editor. And A.S. Raman's Illustrated Weekly was typical that the cover page would have A.S. Raman bowing before whichever godman was his latest guru. And as we all know, Khushwant Singh demolished godmen, with a vengeance, not just the Sikh establishment. And subsequent events have showed us that the godmen didn't only have feet of clay, they were like totally made of clay, which that's what we have found out. So anyway, so Khushwant Singh really changed the weekly dramatically. He changed content. A lot of us are credited with creating the journalism of the 1990s, but we do not, we should acknowledge the fact that it was Khushwant Singh who established that journalism in the 1970s in the Illustrated Weekly. So he kind of really took it off from that esoteric, full of yourself ivory tower, and brought it down to the level of ordinary people. And so while he would have a Hari Prasad Chaurasia, he would also have a Shakila Banu Bhopali. And he was absolutely unapologetic about it. And he would, of course, he had his little coterie of admirers and fellow intellectuals, and though I would think he would hate that word, and intellectuals, poets, writers, but he would always walk down home from the Illustrated Weekly down Bombay's Dadabhai Nauroji Road and pick up the slice of life that was happening there. And he'd ask all the booksellers, how much has the Illustrated Weekly been sold? And that is another factor that changed, that he took the Illustrated Weekly. I know when we did the cricket issue, we hit 3 lakh circulation. Now today, 3 lakhs is peanuts. But in those days, the August Times of India was only 1 lakh. And so that's what he did. And then he would find his short stories also. Once there was a story about, which was called The Bottom Pincher, typical of Khushwant Singh, and where he spoke about, again Parsi, that there was this very holy Joe kind of guy who would be bowing in front of the fire temple, which was at Flora Fountain, but he would be surreptitiously pinching the bottom or stroking the bottom of some poor beggar woman who was there. This is all before Me Too and feminism and all that, right? So he revolutionized content. Then he certainly revolutionized, and for which I am very grateful, the newsroom hierarchy. So in the old days, you didn't get a byline till you had ivy growing all over you. But Khushwant Singh had the courage to give trainees not just a byline, but cover stories. And then we all really worked that much harder to prove his faith in us. And he helped us do stories on social mores, how things changed. I remember my first story was Indians in Cabaret, and where I went and interviewed all these girls, and we had a colleague, Ben Costa, who said, what a waste to send this young woman to interview all these cabaret artists. So anyway, so that is what he did. And I think I'll stop now, because today, I think more than ever, and every single day, we realize the absence and the importance of having a voice like Khushwant Singh, which was so outspoken, so uncaring, though I really don't know how much he would have survived in today's environment. And he probably would have stopped writing because that's all that he could do. And he really didn't ever, stop or kind of feel ashamed to, or not have the courage to call a spade, not just a spade, but a trowel. And that really was Khushwant Singh. And we really miss this important voice of his today. But I'm very glad that LitFest, like the Kasauli LitFest, continue to give a space to people to listen to, for people to speak as freely as it is possible and breathe this wonderful free Kasauli salubrious air. So let the show begin.